Welcome to Let's Play Monster Hunter 3, aka Monster Hunter Try. I'm Captain Vulgarity, for those of you who don't know me. And let's play some Monster Hunter Try. This game right here has taken up a big ass chunk of my life and is probably responsible for half of my college grades below a B. Anyway, yeah, just gonna start creating a character here, talking about the game. So Monster Hunter Try, it's one of those action RPGs out there. It's a very popular game in Japan, from what I've heard, because of this. For those of you who don't know, its predecessor, Monster Hunter Freedom Unite on the PSP, was easily one of the best-selling. I believe it was the best-selling game on the PSP in Japan. So very popular with Japanese people, but Monster Hunter Try Online is actually popular with a lot of Spanish people, and Spanish people tend to make, like, a lot of the best players on Monster Hunter Try Online are Spanish people, but that's neither here or there. Ooh, yeesh. Goddamn eyeshadow. Ugly. Just making a little Mitsurugi character here. I just decided to go with that because black seems to be the most neutral color. And I actually like... lung cancer voice. So yeah, we don't really have much to talk about at this point of the game, aside from listening to a bunch of male grunts. At least it gave some voice actors some jobs, huh? I take it back, this is the most entertaining part of the game. As soon as you're done this, just turn the video off. Anyway. Well, in my Monster Hunter 1 LP, you only had one set of clothes, which didn't cover your body that well. In this game, they happily obliged for others. Which made for some rather uncomfortable aesthetics before you bought armor. And that was a little bit of a while in Monster Hunter 1. I know normally you're not supposed to talk over cutscenes, but come on. Nobody's actually saying anything here, so I'm not overlapping any important dialogue. You can watch. You don't want to listen, just mute the video or something. Anyway, regardless of which character you choose, you're gonna see some unpleasant-looking outfits here because of the rather tribal / caveman-esque economy here. Aside from that one girl and the schoolgirl, what the fuck it is. I know some people wouldn't call it schoolgirl because technically, ooh, she has sandals and a beret. Oh my god, man speedo. Seriously, look at those pants. Looks like a bad gay man's pants. Just shark, like he was swimming out in the lake and a shark swam up and just ate another one, and just, like, took a big bite out of his fucking pants, and he did nothing about it. Well, we live in a tropical climate, so I kinda enjoy a breeze on the bumski. Yeah, this culture's kind of whacked. Go figure. It's Monster Hunter. Alright, in case you didn't get what that was, apparently that was supposed to be some giant earthquake that threw the place into chaos. but they really heavily downplayed it, so you couldn't exactly see it. I don't know. Maybe they didn't want this game rated teen, despite the fact that you could see ass crack everywhere. You could see butt. You saw Dexter's butt in Dexter's laboratory, so I don't know what they're going for here. Regardless, well, I guess there's the blood. This is Moga Village. This is where the story mode of the quest takes place. And this is where you're going to be spending most of your time if you're smart and want to build up some of your sets before going online. Now, just so you guys know, I'm not going to pay much attention to the character dialogue. I don't believe anybody's actually going to be interested in that. And if you are, I'm sorry. Buy the game yourself. It's only like $30 last I checked, and that was like a year ago, I think. So you could actually run out and buy it yourself. Monster Hunter Tri is actually a really... IGN gave it a 7.0 out of 10, and that's weird because I consider it kind of a gem. I mean, it doesn't have a formal lock-on system for killing monsters and shit, but I can still play it. And it's one of my favorite games of all time. And it's just weird. And yet they gave it a 7.0, but they give... I mean, I still like games like they're high-rated games like Assassin's Creed and Call of Duty somewhat, but I've always preferred Monster Hunter more than that. Anyway, we just got some money, so I'm gonna buy some armor and cover our next to naked ass. So I won't have to walk around skinny. Skinny dipping throughout the entire Monster Hunter adventure. Plus, buying a complete set of armor actually gives you useful skills. Like, I started with chainmail armor on my first run through of this game, but leather is a lot more useful at this point. And you can buy the whole set, so, you know, why wouldn't you? This cat right here, he'll take care of your when you go into arena mode of the game. If you noticed at the beginning of the game, the start menu, it had arena play. Well, I'll discuss that later, but basically he'll help you get data from that when you played there. It's not automatically transferred. This here's the guild lady. This here's the guild liaison. She's the one who will be handling the guild quests when you. She'll be handling the guild quests when you actually get there, but for now we're still in tutorial mode. The old guy that we just talked to at first is the village chief, and he's the one who's giving us our starting funds, as well as giving us advice about hunting in general. Now this here's shorty here, who I almost gave a nuts an unintentional teabag to, is the Wyverian Artisan. He'll forge weapons and armor for you, which we'll get into later. Yaggity yaggity yak, shut up, old man. And this friendly villager you never want to see again because she's a horrible creature and she's like, aha, shook up and aha. She's full of terrible puns, so, yeah. You want to avoid her like the plague. Bye. And this kid acts like you were gonna give him a death threat or something like that. And you could try and you know, beat him out of some lunch money for some armor or something, but I doubt he's got anything. I mean, look, he's barely even wearing a shark-bitten pair of pants, let alone a Speedo. Oh. This is right next to child porn here. Ha! And gal with the goods, she sells you stuff, which will come in later when you actually have money. Right now, we're broke because we needed armor, but the armor will help us gather so much easier. Because of certain skills it has placed on the armor. However, I'm not going to go into details about armor building just yet. Not until they start mentioning it in the game. For now, let's just say leather armor will make it easier to gather, so you want it at this point in time. My ancestor has For those of you who don't know me, I like to do stuff like that. It's just entertaining for me. So, welcome to Moga Woods. And killed the mood. Thank you, old man. Jesus. Just reveling in the beauty of nature, and the village chief just has to open his fat yap. How is he talking to me anyway? Does he have like a giant megaphone back in the village that he's screaming to me through? I mean, that would make all the villagers deaf. But regardless, smile, nod, move on. Monster Hunter, try. All of Monster Hunter games, in fact, are very, very pretty games. They're very beautiful, outdoorsy games. Like, they have... They're not great, but, I mean, they're not like, anything super amazing, like some of the stuff on PS3 and Xbox, but, I mean, for the Wii, they are very pretty games. I think this ranks some, like, graphics-wise, I think it ranks along with, like, Sonic and the Black Knight and Conduit and stuff. Of course, I never played much of Conduit, because I suck at FPS, so, yeah. Regardless, you'll notice I switched my weapon. I'll get into weapons a little later on. Right now, we're just kind of in tutorial mode, and I just want to get past this. You could use the sword and shield, too, but... yeah, I just prefer the greatsword. The greatsword's my main weapon. But like I said, we'll get into that later. So there's Cheeks McGee, a.k.a. Junior, a.k.a. son of the village chief. So blah blah blah. I don't like listening to people, I got ears of lead. So... yeah, this is Junior. He's extremely hypoglycemic. I sympathize with him because I have the same problem. You know, gotta eat or you'll get all woozy and grouchy and shit. So... yeah, we have to find him some raw meat. Luckily, I already killed an Aptonoth and carved some good raw meat off of it. And like I said, don't worry about weapons for the moment. I'll do my best to try and talk about how to use each weapon properly. At least the melee weapons, to the best of my ability. I make no guarantees about switch axe or gun, because I stink at both of those. Oops, spoiler alert! Yes, switch axe. But yeah, for right now, we could head back to the village right now, but I'm trying to do a little bit of gathering, like right here. This is one of the biggest parts of early game Monster Hunter. Before you're able to buy everything you need, before you build up the funds, you're going to have to gather a lot. Mushrooms and herbs are where you want to start. Honey too, if you can get it. And there's indicating little, like you see how there's a honeycomb there, and then a question mark pops over your head. That means you can gather at that spot. So if you run past a spot and a question mark pops above your head, you know, give it a whirl. Sit there and tap A. Now, talking about controls for the game, I use the Classic Controller Pro in playing Monster Hunter Tri. That is going to be my reference point for explaining the controls in Monster Hunter Tri. I don't care if you use the Wiimote and the nunchuck. I will not. I do not, and I pity you, in fact. Because using a Classic Controller / Classic Controller Pro will prove much, much easier for you. It'll make it so much easier to utilize each weapon properly. And I've used the Wiimote before, so... Regardless, we've just collected some honey. When I say collecting herbs and blue mushrooms, you'll use those in combining later in order to create potions. When you create potion, then from potions you can add honey to make mega potions. This is basic for this is the most basic of combining for any monster hunter anywhere. Mega potions are your friends. Because of your current health bar has 100 points, and your current stamina bar has 100 points as well. Your health bar remains consistent throughout the entirety of the mission, but your stamina bar will decrease every 5 minutes. Like it'll drop your maximum stamina will drop by 25, and naturally you have to eat to increase that. Oh, and here's what happens if you run for too long and run out of stamina. Your stamina bar increases really quickly, but you're left kind of prone to any kind of it. You're left panting and prone to any attack from any kind of monster. Which is really bad if you're running from a giant wyvern. Because your stamina decreases a lot faster during that. So I guess I'll take a moment to explain the controls. You use the left... Obviously, you use the left control stick on the Classic Controller Plus. You use the left control stick to move around, and the right control stick to control your camera. Just go left and... You use left and right to pan the camera in sort of a free pan, and you push up and down to switch to a different vertical angle. Of course, I only use with these are really important when you're fighting monsters later on, and they take some time to get used to, because it's not like you have a lock on or anything. But that helps. You use the R button to dash, X button for a vertical attack, A button for a horizontal attack, Y to use an item, and B to cancel. I think you use select. I don't think you use select aside from in the menu. You press start to open the menu, and select is just an online thing as far as I know. So that's about all. That's about all I'm gonna do for controls for right now. I'll explain the controls for the different weapons more in detail later. Right now, we have to go gather resources. How do you gather resources? You kill stuff. That's easy. Easy enough, right? I mean, that's what you wanted to do the whole time, not gather a bunch of shit or feed a fat ass who likes a breeze too much. Never stand downwind from that guy, I'm just saying. Or rather, from any of these villagers. The salt breeze will do a lot better for your nose than their after-dinner smoothies. Yes, I just called an ass patty a smoothie. Get used to it. Alright. So yeah, you start off with... You have 5 choices of weapons at the beginning of the game. Great sword, sword and shield, which they just call sword for some reason, lance, hammer, and bowgun. And in your box you have 2 choices of weapons, either a sword and shield or a great sword, and they both work pretty well as game starting weapons. You can also buy the whole bowgun kits or weapons in the shop, but they're a lot more expensive than if you created them yourself by bringing the Wyverian artisan your own materials. This lady will be very important to you later on. But right now, her fishing crew is gone, so she's utterly useless. Sorry, Big Mama.
Ooh.
I love the guy who did the Chief's voice. He's got that old raspy voice like most of the guys, but it's not menacing. In fact, he's kind of goofy. That's what I like about him. So, you know, Hento Shiroyama or whatever the fuck your name, or whatever your name is. I don't actually know your name. Whoever did the voice for that guy. Good job. Good job. You made me laugh. As I'm sure you did a few other people. So yeah, this is your item pouch. This is where you're going to carry the items you harvest and collect from monsters and stuff. You can sort it by pressing select, I believe, which is the use for the select/minus button. So back out in Moga Woods, I believe he's asked us, yes, we have to go back and collect some resources. We did get 1,000 zenny, possibly for more equipment, but I'm going to go ahead and save that for right now. Just because I feel like upgrading my weapon would be the best course of action. Now, like I said before, you're going to have to do a lot of gathering in this game, and you can do it during missions or in between missions just to prep up, just to properly prep yourself up. I'm going to do some gathering on camera, I won't lie. Like, I'm not going to completely omit it from the game because I believe that's part of the gameplay experience, but if there's serious equipment gathering that I have to do in quests that I've already completed, I'm not going to do that on camera. I'm going to spare you guys from that. So anyway, yeah, we're collecting herbs right now because early in the game, when if you are playing this game for the first time, you will need herbs because you will not know how to control your weapon precisely. I guarantee it. That takes a lot of practice. So collect those herbs and make sure you use them when you get beat up. Keeping an eye on your health is one of the biggest things in this game. It's like the most basic video game skill of all time. I mean, aside from platformers and stuff. So yeah, here he's talking about Hunter's Notes, which is actually kind of useful, though I never really used it beforehand. So you go into the menu with Start, tap R to go to the Hunter's Notes, register, and then you point your Wiimote at the screen, tap either A or B, and hold it down, then tap the other button. Basically, you have to hold A and B when you're on top of the monster to gather information about him. So there, I just demonstrated a fully charged GS Slash. Most basic of great sword techniques. Something that everyone should try and utilize. I'm going to emphasize that now. I know I said I wouldn't talk about weapons things, but that needs to be emphasized right now. Now here we have cooking, with a catchy little tune that's probably burned into your brain for the rest of time if you've played Monster Hunter.
So tasty!
Cooking a well-done steak is actually a little bit tricky, but if you either have the reflexes to pull it up when it turns brown, or the timing to, like, you can time counts after 1, 2, 3.
So tasty!
Yeah, example, like that. That's how I time when I make well-done steaks. Of course, I don't use them anymore, but you'll be using them at the beginning of the game, so make as many as you can.
So
Monster Hunter
tasty.
Tri is a game that's huge on how you prepare yourself for missions. That's one of the heaviest RPG elements for it. Alright, eat some well-done steak, and you'll notice my stamina bar went all the way up to the max, which is 150. in the stat bar. So stamina is... Now these little fuckers here, these will be the bane of your existence when you are in the middle of a giant monster hunt. These are insectoid creatures called Banhabra, or Banahab. I think it's called Banahab. And they will run up behind you and sting you and possibly paralyze you, leaving you prone to monster attack. When you're trying to attack them, they'll also fly around really annoyingly. You can't harvest them easily. However, if you use a certain technique, which I'll discuss later on, you can actually harvest them more efficiently. But if you use a big old giant 10-foot greatsword and smack them around in the face, obviously they're going to blow into pieces because they have exoskeletons, not inner skeletons. Alright, meet the Jaggy. These are the first little carnivores you'll meet in the game, and they are, well, basically the punching bags of the game. Or the little flies or dust mites. They're actually a lot... these guys are actually a lot less annoying than the Banhabra, which is surprising to me. Because you'd think a little bug wouldn't bother you as much as a velociraptor would, but go figure, it does. Now, the biggest thing you do in the biggest trait that Monster Hunter has is carving monsters. You actually get to carve up your kills and use their materials for better weapons and armor, and some other things. One of the things that makes the game, that gives it such a big boost in like playability, I'd say, or gameplay length, as I should probably call it. So yeah, we have all the resources we need, but I feel like I'm collecting a lot of Jaggy material because they actually make pieces of armor that are really helpful. It's like basically I used a Jaggy set all the way up until like near end game. Yeah, that's about how hugely helpful their set was to me. It depend. Again, the set you pick, along with the skills you have, depends on the weapon you choose. Some weapons are better suited to attack. Some weapons are better suited to defense. Well, not defense, but evasion. Some weapons work better with status attack up and stuff like that. It all depends. By the way, these things here are called Kelby. I didn't actually get them in my book because I'm an idiot. And I just remembered I didn't get the Jaggy either, so let's go back and get those. Or not. Or so! Yeah, here's where I realized. Go me! Anyway. So yeah. A major part of the fun of this game is using different armors and experimenting with different armors and different weapons. Now, obviously, you're going to get to, like, a best, quote-unquote, set for you. And everybody who knows me knows what set I use the most. And it's actually a set that a lot of, quote-unquote, pros on Monster Hunter Online use. So yeah, those things are called Kelby, and I'll explain more how to properly harvest them later, because they actually have a dedicated quest. So, that'll help out. So yeah, we collected all the resource points we need and more. So just head back to the village, have a good old time. Just listen to that ambiance. The game really knows how to give you the feeling of being outdoors, hunting monsters, you know, kind of being one with nature. So if you're a fat fuck and you don't like to go outside, this guy, you will want to. You'll want to pick this game up, of course. I kind of lied. I do go outside quite often, in fact. Not only for work, but for... Like, I love camping, so giving me a game that allows me to camp a lot, and which isn't Call of Duty, will... gives me the feeling of camping, I mean... Camping outdoors. Yeah, I talked about that. So yeah, next, when you're in the middle of when you're in the village, yeah, that's your box. I'll talk about that later. When you're in the middle of the village, if you have some progress that needs to be made, buying some iron pickaxes for later because they're useful, and I'll need them to upgrade and I'll need ores to upgrade weapons, so you need to buy pickaxes for that. I always carry pickaxes, period. So this guy wants you to... So this guy, the Wyverian Artisan, wants you to bring him some iron ore. And the reason I bought extra pickaxes is because pickaxes, while you're in the middle of mining, break. So you want to make sure you always have extra pickaxes if you're going on a big mining expedition. And of course I am. So let's talk. Blah blah blah. Oh yeah, apparently there's this brazier right in front here where you can grab a torch from. Torches are actually really useful against some monsters, in fact. Although they only affect, like, 3 in the game. Alright, I guess I'll explain this now. You see these... You'll notice that I'm not actually running up and slashing these Kelby before carving them. That I'm actually employing that kick and side smack technique, which I call the cock slap, because that's basically what I think it is. If you use that on the Kelby with a greatsword, you're actually stunning it instead of killing it. When you stun the Kelby, you get better items than when you kill it. Or should I say, different items, quote-unquote, than when you kill it. Now back to the aspect of torches. There's 3 monsters, I believe, that react to torches in this game, and we've seen 2 of them. One of them is the Jaggy, because they're extremely weak to fire. So that scares them off. Another is the Banhabra, but they behave differently. They fly towards you and attack you more often with the torch. You know, moth to flame logic. You can even stun these big old guys. And hack and slash their throat open. Happy day, look at all that blood. Too bad your sword doesn't get blood stained. That would be awesome. Just walk through reeking of monster blood, and all the monsters all of a sudden just clear out. So yeah, Area 4 right now is our destination. The woods slowly open up as tutorial mode unfolds, until you get to the last of the tutorial modes before your quests. It's just sort of a way of giving you... It's just sort of a way of teaching you to... you know, as you get used to the game, you get around a lot easier. And then you get used to the aspect of exploring, which builds upon itself, and yeah. It builds upon itself, and then at the end you're a well-rounded explorer. You've graduated explorer school. You're gonna go out. You're gonna make something for yourself. You're gonna become a fucking hunter without peer. You're gonna be the best goddamn hunter of all time. Yeah, kid, you're gonna be it. Not me. You're gonna be the goddamn greatest hunter of all time. You're gonna eat lightning, and you're gonna crap thunder, and you're gonna hurt. That's what he's saying. So anyway, we got 4 nice pieces of iron ore there, which is not quite enough for what I want, but it works. And here's the 3rd enemy in the game. That is affected by the torch. This little guy here is called a Gigi. And they are basically giant fuzzy leeches. See that? See that guy? Yeah. That's a Gigi. And if you hit him twice with a torch, he'll run away. But I like to kill them because Gigi stingers are useful for something later on. That's kind of the main logic of Monster Hunter. Kill it, carve it up, and gather as much as you can. Because even if you don't need it, you can always just... It can be merchant fodder. You can sell it and use that, and use those funds to get something that you do want. I wanted to shut up there so you can enjoy the ambience of the cave a little. They really did nail it, being dark and spooky stuff, damp, right down to the footsteps, you know? It's not like Trespasser where the footsteps are randomized, but... Yeah, like I said, this is basically what you're gonna see. If I run into Jaggy along the way, I'm gonna harvest them no matter what. I like to like I said, Jaggy materials are going to be extremely useful to me later on, so I'm going to be harvesting that stuff like crazy. But, like I said, I'm going to save most of that for offline. But, I mean, going out to Moga Woods is okay for gathering, because even if you die... You don't lose any money, or you don't get penalized for it. You can die as much as you want, and you can still kill the monster. But quests have a lot better, like, ROI. Meaning, if you complete a quest successfully, you'll get a lot more materials out of it. And you'll see that as soon as you start doing quests. Grab the Kelby. Something neat to note about the monster list is it actually keeps track of how many of each type of monster you've killed. So if you wanna know how many Jaggy you've killed throughout the game, all you have to do is put it in your monster list. You don't even have to like it keeps count of how many of each monster you've killed from the beginning of the game, not from when you collected data on it. Which is nice. It's also incredibly useful if you're looking to ascertain titles during online play. I may do a little bit of commentary on online play. I know I did some Monster Hunter fuckery stuff on my old channel, but I don't think I'm going to count that as formally part of this LP. That was just kind of a side project for fun. Regardless... That's still... I don't know why I find that so funny. So yeah, I want to upgrade the Iron Sword into the Iron Sword Plus, but you need a shit ton of money and a shit ton of iron ore. Meaning 5 pieces. So we impressed the fuck out of everybody here by bringing in some stellar iron ore, yay! Our dumb shit character probably only came across it just by luck. Like he just hit it, shiny rock, me take to Wyvern guy. It's basically, we're basically cavemen. This is basically caveman territory here. Well, slightly more, maybe Neanderthal. I mean, they can sharpen swords and stuff like that. So we've been just sent out to go to the woods and kill some lovely little... That's an awesome jump cut. We've been sent out to the woods to go hunt some fish. Fish, honestly, in my opinion, are useless to hunt, to gather from. Like, they don't give anything useful at all that you can't get from something a little more reward. That's something that has actual good rewards, so... Well, regardless, we gotta get used to swimming in this game, because it's an aspect of monster hunting that is only present in Try. In Monster Hunt, they never introduced swimming physics in any Monster Hunter game before that, and in Monster Hunter Portable 3rd, the Japanese release, they drained all the water from every one of the ocean areas. And they replaced Lagia Crew with Janogua and got rid of Seydus, which is a crying shame for most of the people who played this game, because Seydus gives... some of the Seydus-based armor, which is what I use online, is some of the best, most customizable armor and with the best skills you will get. To me. Some people might think differently, but... Oh yeah, I called this guy Daikon because he's a veggie freak, and Daikon's a radish, so... Well, regardless, I gave... Where was I? Yeah, some people might argue that Helios isn't the best, that Vangus is the best, or something like that. More spoiler alert. But... I disagree. I think the combat capabilities of Helios are better, but... I'm not going to go into any more detail on that unless I faux pas out some more. So let's have a... Here's Piggy. Meow, grunt, grunt, grunt. I'm sure a pig goes meow. In the Monster Hunter universe, yes. Pink buns, but I'm gonna call him Dr. Ham. I find that entertaining for no particular reason. Dr. Ham, the evil pig genius that wants to take over the world. In a pair of in a diaper. Hell yeah. Most badass villain ever. Dr. Ham. Should make the rest of this game about him. Fuck our character. He's just some schmuck who's trying to kill monsters. Dr. Ham and his scientific innovations will rule the world. Ooh. Oh! Hold up! I'll be so glad when I finally get past these stupid things. I mean, it's actually a lot. The tutorials mode in this game is actually a lot better for introducing a character to a game than regular old Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter was kind of... Well, let's just say its controls were complicated and it kind of... Like, dedicating quests to a tutorial was really stupid. So they really improved that in this game by giving you the whole Moga Woods aspect. And I really do like the Moga Woods aspect of the game. Oh, and look at this big jackass. That Kelby does a lot of damage, but he's a big motherfucker, so... Naturally, he gives better rewards. Raped you, bitch. Took a blue Kelby horn. Good for trading. Later in the game. Yeah, there's trading. But that's not important right at the moment. Right now, let's talk about... Well, as you can see, the rest of Moga Woods has opened up to us. All areas 1 through 12, I believe. Those are Altaroth. They're horrible pains in the ass. I hate them. They're stupid. But they'll be useful in mushroom gathering. Basically, all the bugs in this game are annoying, just like in real life. Go figure. Oh, they're just about 10 times the regular size, that's all. Each monster, I believe, has a specific weak point on its body. Usually it's the head, but for the main monsters, they're a little bit different based on their anatomy. And you'll probably be able to tell which is the weakest point, but I'll bring it up as we hunt each monster. I think you can look it up at if you're looking to do some in-depth research in the game. Probably use game FAQs or something like that. I use the Monster Hunter Wiki because game FAQs people are fucking fat fuck nerds who need to get out and get more sun. Like, literally, they make the game seem so boring and methodical with the way their formulas are, with the way they always talk about formulas and calculations and proper gear and yada da da da. Just play the fucking game. Alright, aside from that rant there. Sorry, I didn't mean to chew your ear off, but aside from that little rant there, Game FAQs is a good place to do some basic research and learn about the game, and learn about the mechanics of the game. Now, let's see. So yeah, this fall would totally kill somebody in real life. Even if it was onto water. Water's like cement once you reach terminal velocity, and that's easily like 1,000-foot drop. Freeze frame! Now for these fish, if you really want to harvest them, User. Freeze frame again! Yeah, normally you'd probably try to go through area 9, then 10, and into the water. Which is where those messages would be a little more separated. A little better separated, but... You know, I'm a jackass who's played the game... Who's played through the game twice before. And accumulated like 2,000 hours online. So... I'm gonna cheat. So yeah, you kill... shut up! So yeah, you kill the fish. If you kill a fish normally, it just runs away and dissipates completely from existence. A sad life. Fillet a bitch! So yeah, we just killed that fish. Probably got some decent commodities from it. Ah, yeah, they do. The commodities they give are actually pretty good, but, you know, there's a monster later in the game that's actually dangerous that gives you even better commodities. Go figure. Gosh, Mickey, this sure is one complicated-ass game. Anyway. Now, we could go back to the village at this point in time, because they just gave us the option in our menu to just return to the village instead of walking all the way back to Area 1. But, in Area 12, you see this little colored rock here? Yes! It gives you macalite and iron ore. And I think some other items, but macalite and iron ore are all I care about now. And it gives you plenty if you're using leather. So, yeah, use leather. And always visit Area 12 if you're mining ore here. That's one of those permanent mining spots that's always there when you re-enter a quest. It's not one of those randomly spawning, despawning mining spots. For those of you who know about that. For those of you who don't, well, I'll probably explain that in the online segment, because that's where it'll become either online or some other segment, because that's where it'll become apparent. So anyway, finally, we finished the tutorial mode. And we're about to move on to quests. But I think we're just going to keep the regular stuff into... I think we're just going to keep this as a separate video just for the tutorial. You can farm a lot of different kinds of... You can create a lot of different kinds of armor if you have the time and the money. And if your OCD like Vagabond was offline, you could just collect and make everything. But as for me, that's all I care about. All I care about is the next set that's going to make me more efficient with my weapon of choice. Now, something to explain about the quests. Once we get into monster hunting quests, I'm going to be more I'm going to ask you guys, the viewers, to see if we can't to give me suggestions about what kinds of weapons you want to see me use, as well as armor types you want to see me use when fighting certain monsters. Like, oh, I want to see you sword and shield and a Kuru Peko set against Baroth. Okay, I'll do it. Okay, I'll do it. I'll give it a shot. But I'll probably give some parameters about which items I'm going to use, because some items about which items and armor I'm going to use. Because let's put it this way, I'll go into detail about that later. Well, actually, I'll talk about. Well, yeah, I'll talk about it later. Blah, 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 blah. For now, yeah, that's the last of the money we're getting from the chief. For now, I think we should... Hang! Anyway. That's going to be stuck in my head all the rest. There we go. Finally upgraded to Iron Sword Plus. And I'm going for Rugged Greatsword next. But, back to the other subject. I'm going to give you some parameters for which items and armor I'm using. which weapons and armor I want to use for the fight. And yeah, that's basically it.
Honor.
Basically, the armor has to be. It actually has to have some useful factors to it, and the weapon has to be. It has to be a fully upgraded version of a weapon that I can get at this point in time. And we could get Book of Combos, but I can't afford it right now because I'm a poor bastard with a big shiny sword. I should start up male prostitution. Anyway. Damn it, vagabond. You and your goddamn puns. You said something about male prostitution. Ha! Now I'm going to flag your video and no one will ever see it. Thank you. Thank you. You make my job easier. Alright, so basically we got up to the guild, and what do they think? And apparently, since we just waltzed into town nearly naked, apparently they think we're not competent enough to actually kill some monsters, so they're just making us collection mushrooms for some old bitch overseas. Yeah. Thanks a lot, guild. You're my best friend. Alright, now as you can see, my pouch is actually pretty full right now, so I gotta start emptying stuff out. So I can continue gathering. That's gonna be one of the most tedious and annoying parts of Monster Hunter, but it's definitely one of the most useful. But it's definitely a necessity. Like I said, this game's about 50% preparation, 50% game skill. I lied. It's about 60% preparation and 40% skill. Either way. Demonstrating you can use the bed to save. Even though it's completely useless. Well, it's not completely useless if you want to keep playing, but if you're saving and quitting, you just want to go to your menu, go back to start menu, start select, you're done. Save your game. So that does it for this episode of Let's Play Monster Hunter Tri. Tune in next time when we actually start doing quests, though they'll probably be annoying gathering quests. And we all know those are a rip-roaring joy. See you later, folks.